Okay, hello boys and girls. Today we're going to do something a little bit different because today we're introducing a brand new skill called elapsed time. And that is something, first of all, important, but it's also something that takes a little bit more strategy. And because I don't have you all here in the classroom, I'm doing a completely separate lesson on this strategy and the way to figure elapsed time before you go into Pearson and do our assignment. So this is really important to know. If you elapsed time means that you have a start time and you have an end time, and you want to figure out how much time elapsed or the time in between the time that it started to where it ended. So that's where that word elapsed comes from. If you wanted to say, I started my baseball game at 7 and I ended my baseball game at 9:30, how much time elapsed? Okay, that's what that means. How much time did it take from when you started to where you ended? And that means you know your start time and your end time, and you need to figure out how much time elapsed. So, the one thing that you do have to know for sure and remember is that if you're starting at a time on a clock, straight up hour, right? That's 8 o'clock. If you were to count 1 hour, you know that it would be 9 o'clock, right? You just count up 1 hour. Everybody, I think, is familiar with that. Remember that when we're counting an hour, even if we're on say we're on 9:20, okay, an hour from 9:20 would be 10:20. The minute hand stays the same, and we go around 1 hour. We go up 1 hour. Okay, so the minute hand will stay the same. This is important for when we use the strategy I'm getting ready to go over with you. Okay? If you are on a start time that was like, say, 10 o'clock, well, sometimes students say, Miss Cole, if I start at 10 and I end at 1, all I have to do is count 10, and then of course we don't count 10 when we're counting up. It would be 11, 12, 1, and that would be exactly 3 hours. That's a simple one, and that one you might not need the strategy I'm getting ready to talk to you about. But what if you're starting with a minute hand on a different time versus an o'clock where it's straight up at the 12 o'clock hour? So we're talking here about, for instance, this is my example. If we have a start time of 3:30 and we have an end time of 7, this is the strategy that I've been teaching the last couple of years, and I think that a lot of the students like it. Okay, so it's called mountains and hills, and the mountains represent 1 hour increments, and the hills represent minutes. Okay, so if you were to draw your timeline and put your starting time down where it starts, right? You're going to draw your mountains to represent each hour. So if I'm at 3:30, the 1 hour would be 4:30. That's an hour. Okay? I have to get to 7 o'clock. So I'm going to keep drawing my hours until I can't go anymore. We don't want to go past 7. We want to go until we get close to 7. So, or as close as we can. So I'm going to draw another hour, and that would be 5:30. Okay? Keep in mind that your beginning time starts at the bottom of the mountain and ends on the other side of the mountain. It doesn't go underneath the mountain. It has a start time. As you're going up the mountain, you come down and you have your end for your hour. You start at that time and you end at your next hour. If you don't do that, you're going to get confused and mixed up. Okay, I need to keep going. I'm only at 5:30. So I'm going to go up and down for another hour. And that's going to be 6:30. Now, if I were to go one more hour, that would be 7:30, and that would be too much. So now I've got to start counting my minutes. Now, counting by tens is the best thing because you can get more minutes, and it's just like counting by dimes and nickels. It's easier than counting by pennies. You'll get there faster. So let's go ahead and start by counting by tens. So I'm going to do with my minutes 6:30. 10 minutes here would be 6:40. So I'm going to put a 10 for my minutes in there. And then if I were to do another 10, that would be 6:50. Now what happens when we get to 6:50? That's important for you to remember that we are at 6 o'clock, and we were at 6:30. Then we went by 10, so that would be 5:10. That was 6:40. And then we went another 10, 5:10. That was 6:50. And another 10 would be what? 7 o'clock. So I'm going to go another 10. That gets me to 7 o'clock. Now I need to figure out how much time elapsed. I'm going to count my hours in my mountains and my minutes. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 hours and 10, 20, 30 minutes. And that is my elapsed time between this start time to this end time. Okay, let's do one more, or a couple if we can, but let's go ahead and try to do another one. So what if I had, let me just go ahead and clear this board. Okay, what if I had a start time of 8:10? This is where this strategy really comes in helpful, because when you have minutes where you're starting with minutes, it's not as easy to count, and this strategy can help. And our end time, let's say, use this example, 10:55. Okay? We are going to draw our timeline, and we are going to start with our beginning time of 8:10. And we're going to draw our mountain for 1 hour. So that's going to be 9:10. Remember, this is important. It's important for you to know that you're starting at the bottom of your mountain, going up, and ending on the other side with your 1 hour increment. Okay? 8:10 to 9:10 is 1 hour. Okay, remember, because our hour hand goes up 1, but our minutes stay the same. Okay? Then we're going to go up another hour to 10:10. That's another hour. Now, if I were to go up another hour, that would be 11:10, and that's too much. So now we have to start counting our minutes to get us to 10:55. So we're at 10:10, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing my minutes. 10 minutes from 10:10 would be 10:20. Another 10 minutes would be 10:30. Okay, another 10 minutes would be 10:40. Another 10 minutes would be 10:50. Oh wait, what if I go another 10 minutes? That would get me to 11 o'clock, and that's too many. And so I need to maybe, what if I were to count by fives? 10:55. Now I'm at my end time. Now I have to count how much time elapsed to get my answer. Okay, so I'm going to count 1, 2 hours. So I know I have 2 hours. I know I don't have 3 hours. I know how many hours because that's how many is showing. And then it's going to be, the rest are going to be in minutes. So it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 45. 45 minutes. So 2 hours and 45 minutes is my elapsed time for that problem. Okay, I want to do one more if I can, just to make sure that you guys are understanding. We are going to start our start time. Whoops, let me get a darker color. My start time is going to be 3:20. And my end time is going to be 6 o'clock. Okay? So let's start with our mountains and hills. So we're going to draw our timeline. We are going to start with our start time at 3:20. And we know that 1 hour from 3:20 would be 4:20. That's 1 hour. Another hour would be 5:20. If I were to go one more hour, that would get me to 6:20, and that's too much time. So I need to start counting by my minutes to get me to 6 o'clock. So I'm at 5:20. I'm going to count 10 minutes, which would be 5:30. I'm going to count another 10 minutes, which is going to be 5:40. Another 10 minutes, which is going to be 5:50. And remember, after 50, 10 more minutes is going to give us to the next hour, which is 6 o'clock. So I need to figure out my elapsed time. I have 2 hours and 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. Okay, I hope that strategy helps you. Some students say they can do it without this. That's fine if you can. Most of the time, there's mistakes made when you start with a time that has minutes. If it's just the straight up hour, a lot of times the kids can do that, and that's fine. If you can do it, you don't have to use this strategy. But this strategy helps a lot of students in 3rd grade to figure out elapsed time. So I wanted to share that with you before you watched your Pearson videos and did your quick check, because there's going to be some questions on elapsed time on there. And then we'll, tomorrow or later in the week, we will do an assignment together on elapsed time, and we'll talk about that during that time. I'll come up with another video. Okay, hope y'all have a great day. Thanks.